Okay, welcome back to the best Python course on the internet. So this is lesson 2. What we're going to do now is some hardcore programming. So we'll actually get into the meat of it. And in the last video, what we did was we made this hello world thing here. And so we're just going to talk about programming and the syntax and all that kind of thing. So we're following this lesson 2. I'm going to make, I don't know, 5 or 6 lessons, but we're on lesson 2. So it's just going to be me reading all the docs I wrote and sort of explaining as much as I can. Let's get straight into it. So the first thing we want to think about is you've got these things called variables. So if you remember from math back in the day, algebra, you can declare something like x equals 3, for example. Let me zoom in maybe a little bit here. Is that better? I don't know. Yeah, anyway. So you can declare like x equals 3. And so what Python, the computer, will do is it'll remember that every time it sees x, it'll replace it with 3. But you can assign x different types. We call them types. So here, in this instance, we've got x equals 3. 3 is an integer. So we say x is a variable and it is of type, like it is of an integer type. We can also do things like assign it the string. So to make a string, you put these double quotation marks, but also in Python, you can put single quotation marks as well. Other languages are very strict about it, and you have to use double, but Python is a little bit more chill. So, okay, let's just go single quotation marks, and so I could put, Steve as x. Easy peasy. So, those are variables. Now, let's follow the docs. So, if you've got the docs on the side, the example is like, okay, x equals 42, yeah? And what that is an integer. And then the next one is, so you can also declare these things called floats. So they're just decimal numbers. There you can do that kind of thing. And then if you remember, don't worry too much about it, but you can also declare like weird things like complex numbers, but don't worry about those. Those are a bit weird. All you really need to know is like, integers and maybe, floats like that. Cool, so that's that. And so actually let's just do a real quick example. So we go x equals 3, and then if you recall from the last video where we print stuff through the screen, so I'll just zoom out a little bit here so we get something there. And then in the next line, so it stores it and it remembers it. Yeah? So we go print x, and the result should be 3. Cool, let's do it. Cool, and the result here is 3. And that's awesome, that's great. And so if we replace that with hi, it should print hi as a string. Cool, and that is looking all good. Great. So those are the very, very primitive basic types. So next is sequence types. So you've got lists. So we'll just say this is going to be your first list. So we'll make a variable and we'll call it first list. And the way you declare a list is you put these braces here, and then inside the list you can put a bunch of ints, for example, right? You could have put, but you also could have put 1.1, 2.2, like a floats, for example, as well. And then we can, and then obviously just to check it out, we can just print the list. So first list, easy. Let's run it. Yeah, and then we just get the contents of the list. Very, very, very simple stuff. Yeah, and then you've also got so I'll just clear everything there. You've also got these things called tuples. So there's actually, and the way you, like, we'll just say T for tuple. Oh, whoops. A tuple, usually like, so the way a list and a tuple looks kind of similar in this example, but there are actually differences. You can read the docs. I've written something about immutability. So what that means is you can, while you're writing the program and your program's going, like you can make a list like this, and then like later sort of, you write some more code that you'll learn, like you write some cool code, and then maybe you need to like change the list to this. Oh no, change it to that, for example. And that's cool, you can do that. A tuple, it's set in stone right at the start. And there are reasons actually why you would want to do that. And like you pick different data structures. But we'll get to it when we get to it. And then you've got the range. So range is what it is. So we'll just say it's a bit funky. So a range is a really cool, it's a function. So this is your first function. It makes a iterator, which is a technical thing, but you can think of it as it just makes a list from, so if I go range 8, what it'll do is it'll make a list from 0 to 7. It's really, really weird. So the way we index things in Python is that we start at 0 and then we go all the way up to, but not including the number we have specified here. So it's going to be, so what'll happen is so this is a comment. You just put a hash, like a hashtag thing, and then what happens is Python will not execute everything with a hashtag in that line. So it'll be like that, So the result of this range will be I'm not going to write out it'll just be that all the way to 7, right? So if we print x, it actually won't. I don't think it'll say. Sorry, I don't think it'll just have some weird object, right? It'll be like range 0 to 8, right? But because what actually happens is it makes like a really complex data type under the hood when you do range. And so what you really need to do is there's this function, right? Range returns iterator, and then what we're doing is we're taking the iterator and we're chucking that and we're converting it to a list. It's a bit tricky, but you'll see there you go. That's the kind of thing we're expecting. Don't worry about that too now. I just want to say, for now, just think of range as, I want to write the numbers like 0 to 7. So I'm just going to go range 8. And that is all I'm going to say about that. We will get to more of that juicy range stuff later in the course. So I guess for now, just know what a list is. Okay, cool. And then text types are strings, right? So in the example, it's like name. And the way you declare a string, like text, writing, you just do this, like Python. Oh, if I can spell Python, right? And then you can just go print, to check it out, print x. Easy. Run it. Uh-oh, what happened here? Okay, so this is part of coding, right? So there's an error, and it says, now, you have to get used to reading these errors so you can fix your program. So I'm like, what does it say? So you sort of go to the bottom, and you're like, okay, it tells you, what line things are on. Is there a way to like add the line numbers here to this? Add line numbers. Show line numbers. Oh yeah, my bad. That line numbers are already being showed. So okay, the error happened here, and it says x is not defined. Well, that makes sense because we didn't like there's no declarative statement that's x equals this. It should be name, right? Name. So the more Python you write, the more you get used to solving problems like this. But we run it again. Cool, and we get Python. Awesome. Excellent. Good job. So, okay, mapping types is the next one. Now, I'm just giving you a whole bunch of types. Just write them down. But we'll come back to each of them later and we'll learn about them properly. I'm just going to, info dump a lot of different types. Okay, so the mapping type, a dictionary. So, a dictionary or map, in Python it's called a dictionary. So when you have an actual dictionary, right? You're looking for a word and it has a definition. So the word is the key in Python speak, and then the definition, like what it actually means, we call we say it's the value. So we just say like, call it D for dictionary, and the way you define a dictionary is like this. So we just say so let's actually make a dictionary, right? So you could be like I don't know, apple. That's the key. That's the word, and you can just give it a definition. Like, what's the definition of an? I don't know. It pretty bad dictionary is red. You know, it's red. So the syntax, right, is key, and then the this colon here, and then the definition, or we say the value. But in a dictionary, you can have many keys as well. You can have lots. So for example, what else is in the dictionary? A apple. I don't know, like an ace, the card ace, like an ace. You know, it's I don't know. It is. Oh, see. So see the highlighting was a bit funky there. So because I need to wrap the I need to this is all like strings, right? Like an ace is it is it is a card. I don't know. That's horrible definition, right? Cool. So that's what a dictionary. And then the idea is like you just have these value stores, and then how to access things in the dictionary is you go. So I'm gonna print. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna print. Now, say I just wanted to print the apple definition. So the way you do it is you go D, D, and then you'd say, okay, I want to look up the key apple. Yeah, and then that should return it is red. Yeah, and you can do that with like you can sort of replace that with ace, and it should return that. Okay, cool. So actually, I do want to just backtrack a little bit. Sorry for backtracking so much, but say we make a list. So what you saw is how to access specific elements in a dictionary, but you can also do the same with lists. So we'll just say L, and we make a list like that, and say I want to access what this middle element is. So the way lists, like the way things work in Python is index things from 0. So this 3 is at index 0. So maybe I can, let's see if I can. So this is at 0. This is at index 1, and this is at index 2, right? So let me just make a comment there. Push it back a little bit. Yep, that looks better. And so the way I would access like the first element is I'd go print. So I want to print something to the screen. Yeah, actually, like if I just went L, first element, right? Nothing would happen. It just because nothing's being printed, right? So the error here was indentation error, which means it needs to be at the start of the line. But nothing should really happen. See, nothing gets printed out. It's like, what are we printing? What are we doing? So you need to print things here. So this says, from the list called L, select the 0th element, which is the first element. And yeah, and we get the 3, which is, so just a little side tangent, that's how you kind of can access certain things. These so-called, largest like sequence types or things like that. Okay, cool. And then you've also got, like I won't touch on it too much. I don't use sets that much these days, but you've got like a set. So I think the thing about a set is it can't have, it should just have unique elements. So I think I actually don't know what if we have 2 3s, but I just remember the general rule is like a set just doesn't have unique elements. So if we write something like this, right? And it's very mathematical, so you can do all the union stuff and the intersection of sets and all that. Yeah, so it got rid of that extra 3, right? You can't have duplicate. Sorry, you can't have duplicate elements. But we'll get to that when we get to that. I mean, yeah, just okay, cool. So and then we've got the Boolean type. So what is a Boolean? What the hell is a Boolean? So a Boolean, right, it's a true or false value. So let's just say what? Okay, so I'm turning 30 this year. Man, and am I gonna have an existential crisis? I don't know. But I can make a variable. I can make a variable that's like is Steve less than 30. And I'm 29. A couple of months I'll be 30. So what I'm going to do is Steve, so I'm going to say that's true. That's true. That's great. So what I can do is I can just print that variable and see, let's see, yep. So I never type out the whole thing. I just like start typing it and then hit enter to autocomplete it. So let's see, is Steve less than 30? I'm kidding. I'm just being dramatic about it. You know. It's not good. Still got my... Anyway, but so my birthday's coming up. Oh, really? It's in a month, like half a year to go. But when that does hit, maybe I'll redo the whole course and I'll be like, oh, that is false. I'm not less than 30 in a few months. Then you can give it the false value. So these booleans, that when we talk about conditionals and if statements later in future lessons, we'll use them more. So this is just like throw all the types at you kind of thing. So it's kind of like memorization. Just at least you've seen it once, and then we'll get to practicing it later. Okay, and we've got these. I'm gonna skip over these binary types. It's a bit like you can make you can make binary types. Just sit back, relax. This is actually quite advanced thing. So you can write hello, and so the way it works is, so maybe that's like binary, you know. So what it does is like with this syntax here, it converts hello into like the byte code for the computers. That's actually super advanced, and I only use that for like really crazy, like wanting to make my program really fast. But we're not we're at the beginner stage, so I put that there in the docs if you want to know about it. Don't worry about it. Actually, it's really fine. Like I didn't really know about it until like 2 years until 2 years after I started coding. So, but it's there for completeness. And then there's also the last one, which is a bit funky, the none type. Yeah, it's literally x equals nothing. X equals nothing, and let's print it. Yeah, so x equals none, and it's like, why would you create? It's actually like philosophical in a way. Is it philosophical in a way? I don't know, but yeah, it's a none. So we'll get to nuns and stuff like that in things, but just this is like this weird, vague, funky thing. It's useful in a few contexts, but it's a bit vague at the moment. Okay, cool. So we've gotten to I guess that's the explainer. We've gotten to the end of the lesson. So I guess what we'll do is we'll write like a little bit of code here, right? Recognize the core types. Yeah, so I mean, yeah. Okay, cool. I think what I'll do is I'll be like, I'll show you something called type. So these are the docs, alright. So for example, we have, so you can just follow the example. To be honest, I just chat GPT'd this example. I'm like, oh man, but it's, I think it's instructive. Like I sort of edited it a bit, but okay. So let's go name. So I'm gonna do like a Dora Explorer thing. I'm like, okay, what is the type of the variable name? Pause the video. What is it? What is it? It's a string. What if you don't know the type of the variable? So you can just go, there's a function, and we'll get to functions later, but a function is just like whatever the function is. And I've been writing code for so long, I just have these like memorized, and the more you use Python and languages, you'll get to know these functions. And you just put, okay, what's this saying? It's like, what is the type of name? But you gotta like print it to the screen. So every time you want to display something, you have to put a print. You have to put a print there. So it's like, so it should say stir, which means string. The class, yep. So everything in Python, everything's like an object, and it's. Don't worry about this class. We'll get to it later. Or maybe actually we will not. This is a beginner Python course. In the second Python course, we'll get to classes. But just it's a stir. It's a string. It's a string. So what if I made? I'll just do this. What if I made age? Age can be 50, 55, right? So what is the type for age? What is it? It's an integer. It's an integer. It's an int. Class int. Yeah. So integers are numbers like, if you remember from math, it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, you know, all that. And then also it includes 0 and all the negative numbers as well. So let's say you age backwards and then you end up -9. Integer. Okay, so what's next? Say I'm buying some apples and the price of an apple is, I don't know, 90 cents. So what's the type of price? What is the type of price? It's a float. It's a float. Good job. I don't know if you got it correct, but I'm trying to be encouraging and supportive here. So well done. Good job. So it is a float. Cool. Okay, cool. Now what I want to do is I'll just how to format printing, I think is really cool. So let's make the price something a bit interesting, right? Like a lot of decimal places. So there are these things called F strings, right? So what you can do is so you can make an F string, right? It's really cool. So you can combine so there's a few things you can do. Actually, let's just get to, you can actually, in Python it's a bit hand wavy, and you can just use the plus operator to be like, okay, I'm gonna concatenate, which means add things, join it together. Be like the price of an apple is, and I'm just gonna go plus price plus price plus price. So what I've done is I've taken this string, the price of an apple is, and then I add it to and then I concatenate that together. So in Python it's a bit hand wavy, and you can, so these are actually different types. This is a type string, and then this is of type float. And in Python you can actually do that. It just converts this to a string. In like C++ or Go or Rust, can't do that. They have to be the same type. They have to be the same type. So what you would do in those languages is you'd like convert this using some crazy ass coding into a string, and then you concatenate them together. But anyway, let's run this and let's see what happens. Oh, get an error. So can only concatenate string to. Oh, so what I just said, right, was a lie, right? You can't do this in Python. So the way you can convert a string, a float to a string, is you just use the string method here like this. So what it's saying is can only concatenate string to a string, right? So actually cool. Maybe Man, so there you go. So I learned something. There you go. So I run that, and what we did is we converted. Yeah. So the formatting is a bit weird, so I'll make a space right there. So what we did is we converted this price float into a string, and then we just concatenated it with the whole string. There is another way of doing this, right? So let's just comment that out. So you just put a little hashtag. To do it quickly, I just go Control / and it just comments the whole line out. Okay, cool. So I tell you, you know why I love Vim? I can just like quickly copy lines down and paste it there, undo that. But yeah, anyway, like it's cool. Or yeah. So what I'm going to do now is introduce you to F strings. So F strings are these cool things where you can put the F at the start of it, right? I think it stands for format. And then, like, let's do this. So what I want to do is I want to take price out of here and sort of like mesh it into one string. So I think it looks a little bit cleaner here. Cool. And so what I think that's what I was thinking about. So F string will automatically convert it to a string. So I've just have this string, and then sort of I embed this price float in here. And so you've got to use these like curly brackets. So like, oh, I'm gonna put executable code or the variable inside these curly brackets, and it'll just all come together and mesh together nicely. So let's run that. Syntax error. What happened? Line 6. Okay, see what happened? So unexpected EOF while passing. Yeah, so that's a bit not helpful, but what it is the error is you've got to close the print. You got to close these print braces here. So let's run that. Cool, and we get the same thing. Now a little cool thing to add on the end. Now a little bit of formatting. This is a price, but it has a whole bunch of decimals at the end. And the way like I want to reduce the number of decimals is now the syntax is a bit. You'll get used to it, but the syntax is a bit weird. So your colon dot, so like I don't know, dot like how many decimals, like decimal, and I say like 1F like for float, like 1 decimal place, and it's a float. Just go with it. That's just how things are formatted, and you'll get used to it. So what this will do is let's find out what it does. So it rounded up to 1, like 1 decimal. So that's a bit weird, but like okay, let's go 2, right? Yeah. So now it's rounding to 2 decimal places. Yeah, and then you can maybe like 2 because that makes sense. It's like a sense, you know. Maybe let's go 6, and it'll round to 6. Cool, and that is types and how to print them and how to use the type function and how to do a little formatting and stuff like that. Okay, cool. I think I'm going to stop the video there. Just maybe, play around, see if you can make some cool types. And I'll see you in the next one. Okay, see you guys.